should let me love you forever, forever. I wanna love you. Will you let me love you forever, forever and day, 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 day.
You. Yes, original theme song back in full. I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm frozen.
There we go. There we go. There you
There we
are.
go. Maybe
Yes.
I shouldn't move.
We're back. I can hear you now. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Deborah.
Welcome. Welcome to 98 The Melanated Way with Abby and Linda. We're covering all things Match Me Abroad, Season 2, Episode 2 and 3. I may be freezing. I may have to go to my phone. We'll see what happens. StreamYard, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with the AI responses.
Yeah, so Michelle, we have been having some StreamYard issues. We are thinking about trying another platform, but we are going to be talking about Match Me Abroad. So we're catching up a little bit. We're going to be doing episode 2 and 3. Yeah, StreamYard's using AI to give Linda answers about the problems that she's been having, so she's not very happy about it. Not being able to get real customer service is a problem these days. But we're going to be talking about Match Me Abroad, episode 2 and 3. And I'd love to hear just your general thoughts about the premise of the show. So the premise of the show is you have an American who's going to another country to find love. And some of these people have never even left the United States. So just what do you think about the premise of the show in general? And now Linda's back. Let's get into the specifics of this episode.
Yeah, I'm on my phone. All fired up is episode 2, and episode 3 that we're covering is, I think, too hot to handle. I'm really enjoying this season so far. What about you, Abby?
I love it. I mean, I have so many questions for them, and I'm so excited to watch how everything develops. But we've got a great crew of people that we've been introduced to so far, and we haven't even met all the characters yet.
100%. Hey, Michelle. Hey, girl. Hey. Raydella, I have so much to tell you. We need to catch up immediately. I made some adult decisions this week, and you will be proud. All right. Let's start with Amber.
Yes.
Her first date with Kevon. And let me tell you, that little Irish Kevon name reminds me of an African American name. Just saying. But Kevon, 100%. 100%.
I didn't think that when I first heard it, but now that you say it, it could very well be.
100%.
Yeah.
Kevon, not Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Not Kevon. Yeah. It's a first date with Kevon. You know, they connected from the very first time that they met at that little mixer. It's their first official date in Ireland. He's bringing her countryside. She's super excited about it. However, Katerina is worried, right? Because Amber rushes things, and she thinks that, by she, I mean Katerina, thinks that Kevon is probably going to be a great match for Amber because he goes slow. He goes with the flow rather than rush into everything that Amber's doing. And I'm not sure Amber is clear that that's what she does. What do you think, Abby?
So I actually think she is clear, you guys. I had a little interaction with Amber that I'm really excited about because I like her as a person character so far that we've seen on the show. And she knows she's a love bomber. And she knows she does need to take it down a notch and move a little slower. But is that going to happen as we watch this series? We have to watch and see.
So Kevon meets her outside her drop-off rideshare, and he greets her with a plush doll, which I thought was super cute. But because Amber wasn't paying attention, she didn't actually look at the plush doll, because the plush doll was like a hint to what they were going to be doing. And she's like, "Oh, this is so cute." And she holds on to it, but she actually doesn't really look at it, which that she's not paying attention, like she's moving at warp speed.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to be meeting alpacas. Am I saying that right?
Alpaca?
Alpacas. She's wearing heels, open toe heels, and that's not going to cut it. So they get some boots on, and they head out for their super cute date. I really loved this date, you guys.
Yes.
I really loved it. All right, David. Related to who? David from David and Annie? That's not true, Michelle.
Or David from David that had the imaginary girlfriend in Ukraine. Remember him with the long trench coat?
That passed away recently?
He passed away?
Yeah, he passed away recently from cancer.
I didn't know that. But I thought she was talking about that David when I first read it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, she said David and Annie. Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe that true. I know David and Annie personally, and I would have known about this little situation. Oh, she's telling me to Google it. More than Googling, Michelle, I will just call David and find out. I don't believe this to be true 100% at all. So I'll get back to you. Anyways, Kevon likes that Amber's full of energy. He's a bit nervous about their date. He's a bit like, we had an initial connection. I hope that's still there. And oftentimes I think that myself too, when you meet someone, like you guys recently, I went on this crazy date, like crazy good, like crazy. He set the bar up here, like crazy. I don't even know how I'm supposed to date after this guy, because he really did set that bar super high. But I get that nervous, like first date, you think you have initial connection when you meet, and then you have the first date, you're like, oh, are we really connected? Have you ever felt that, Abby?
Well, sure. However, let's just stop, everybody. Let's just move a little bit slower and get more details about this amazing date. I mean, come on. Like, give us something. Give us
all
something.
I can say is that I said I want you to plan a proper date, and he planned a proper date. He, had car services pick me up. He planned the whole date. There was music, there was comedy, there was food, there was a lot of stuff that was involved. And
So it was hours and hours and hours.
oh yeah, it was lots of hours. It was hours. Yep.
Okay, mystery man.
Yep. Then a couple of days later, there was, I should have showed you guys. There were these French truffles that just appeared at my door. Huge box that just said for Linda with no from. It's the whole thing. Anyways.
I love this pomp and circumstance.
Yeah, it was a lot of it. But you know what? I don't know how I'm going to go backwards if this doesn't work out.
Well, you don't. You just continue to move up the same way that you move up in your life professionally and your friendships get deeper and stronger. The same thing should happen in your romantic life, right?
100%. So they are, and I don't know why I keep saying this wrong, but you know what I'm talking about, the alpacas.
Mm-hmm.
Amber gets spit on by one of them. And, I don't know if you guys have ever been around them, but they're all very strong personality types. Like, you got to get the one that likes you, because if they don't like you, they're going to let you know. They're not going to respond to you. It's going to be a tug of war. And we saw a little bit of that on this. They have very strong personalities. Yeah, they look cute and cuddly, but they have strong personalities. So she gets spit on by one of them. And she makes a funny joke about her eyelash, because, she's about her lashes, and I'm not mad at her about that, because I'm about lashes too. So she's like, Kevon, are my lashes still on? And she's always also worried that she's too boisterous for Kevon. But you know what? He's having a good time. He feels like she has a lovely, warm presence about her. They bond over animals and nature. He has a dog and a cat named Willow. And just so you know, this cat situation and conversation and the stupid cat date that Harold went on was a little too much for me. But
I knew it would be.
Amber apparently had a cat named Henry that died. And, you know, rest in peace, Henry.
We are not laughing at your dead cat, Amber. We're laughing because she has a weird thing against cats.
That was really terrible of you. Okay. Then they're drinking champagne, having a lovely time. Who names their cat Henry? Like, I mean, come on. You guys
Cats
are,
have regular names. My cat was named Bingo.
I mean, Bingo I get. Bingo is a dumb name for a stupid cat. Like Henry? I mean, stop it. They're drinking champagne and just like talking, kind of talking about their whole date. She finds out that Kevon lives at home with his parents. And that's who's going to be watching his fur babies while he's on these dates. And she's kind of not happy that he lives at home with his parents and thinks that he might be a mama's boy. And so my question to you all, because I feel like that's 100% an American mentality, and I've talked to you guys about multi-generational homes often, so you know where I stand with it. Abby, what are your thoughts on this?
So the first inquiry as to whether or not he lives at home, I don't think that one is so much important. But the second inquiry she made as to whether or not he's capable of taking care of himself, that one is important. Is mama doing his dishes, cooking for him, doing his laundry? I think those are where the questions that matter. I'm not so concerned about someone who lives at home if they are properly managing their money, they're taking care of themselves, and they're contributing to the household. But if it's a situation like we just saw with Greg, that would concern me because I want you to be able to take care of yourself. Because how are you going to help me, especially since they both want children?
Right, but Greg is also a different situation. Greg is like I said, that it's American mentality. That's not necessarily what happens outside of America when you have multi-generational homes. It's just not that. Greg was lazy, and I'm glad that Greg got a job, but I don't think that that is what Kevon's situation is. But you all, let me know what you all think. Harold, 43, definitely has his suspenders on. Dolly has arranged a mock date so that he doesn't mess up his real date. And he really is trusting Dolly, his matchmaker. He's really trying to listen to everything that she's saying to him, the advice that she's giving him. And so he shows up in like a maroon shirt and red suspenders. And Dolly actually likes his look, likes the suspender, you know, the two-tone contrast, as well as he did his hair. And she feels like he's becoming more manlier. And I felt the same way. I'm still not a super fan of his suspenders, but I do think that he made an effort. Abby?
I just don't like Dolly as a matchmaker for him. I'm afraid that Dolly might accidentally set him up to present someone other than himself on a date because she keeps telling him not to be himself. And it might end up not being a match that's sustainable, but we'll see. The way that she always says, don't be yourself, kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Hmm. But she hasn't said it lately. She said it in the first episode.
Yeah, but you know,
Okay,
it's
well,
stuck with me.
I get,
It's stuck with me.
I get, I get what you're saying. So he has this mock date, and they do it to elevate his confidence and understand the Singaporean culture, to make sure that he's ready for his actual date. So her colleague Katie is his mock date, and she is going to, or was repping a typical Singaporean woman. And it was awkward from the beginning. The whole date was awkward. It was hi, 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 hi. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet everything. Doubled. And then to break the awkwardness, Harold's like, "Oh, I have something for you," and he pulls out his little sketch pad and gives her a drawing. And then there's some awkward. She says thank you. There's some awkward silence. They're looking at each other. She tries to make small talk. You know, what do you like to drink? And then he says milk. And then specifically 2% milk. And she's like, oh, like a kid. Silence, more awkwardness, more awkwardness. He's like, I love your smile, and your eyes are precious. He's nervous. He's sweating. He's trying, but you can also see that he doesn't know what to do. And she's not making it easier for him. And so then he's like, you know, what do you like to do for fun? And she's like, you know, I like Pilates and rock climbing and being outdoors. And he's like, oh, yeah, I like collecting stones and flint. Oh, Harold. Harold.
Well, I like the fact that she was hanging back and letting him have a view of what it would be for him to lead the date, which I guess is what she's saying they want more so in that culture. But it's just not going well.
It's not going well. It was hard. And I think that he needs to be coached a little bit more about taking the lead and small talk, because he's definitely not good at it. And
Right.
the thing I love about Harold is he's going to be honest. Like, he likes to collect rocks. He likes to draw. He likes to collect flint. He likes to try to, like, make a connection, but he doesn't know how to make that connection. He doesn't know what are the steps to make a connection, and he definitely doesn't know how to small talk. So she says that she likes fishing, and he's like, well, you know, what do you like about fishing? It gets awkward. There's no real response. And he's like, oh, I got lost in your eyes. Okay, Harold, I get that you probably read a book or 2 or 3 or 4 about nice little niceties to say to women, but it's starting to get a little cringe, you know? Like,
Right.
it's not flirt behavior. It's more like you memorized some
Right.
cute to say, and I understand it. I just feel like to have a dating coach, the dating coach should see where your limitations are. And this was a great first step with the mock date, but I also now think that she needs to step in and teach him about small talk and how to connect with people so that he is set up for success.
Right.
Because he's feeling embarrassed and awkward, and it's just awkward. And so Dolly does interrupt so that she can give some feedback. And her first feedback is, you know, Singapore women like men to take the lead. And then she did a list of what do you think the positives and negatives were. Positive was the drawing, giving the drawing. Katie really liked that. But then that was the only thing I had on the positive list. Negative was he gave the drawing too soon. Small talk was not easy. Conversation needs to be improved on. He needs to take the lead. He needs to delve into more topics rather than like jump from topic to topic to topic. He needs to relax. He's too stiff. His posture is too stiff. His body language is saying a lot about who he is. And the whole situation was just really stressful for him. And yes, those were all the negatives, but I will say this. He was trying to the best of his ability.
Yeah, I think he was too. And
if he doesn't have the tools to take it to the next step, then that's why you're there. That's dating coach to teach him the ropes. And maybe he's not ready for a first date, although we do see in the next episode that he goes on a date that, in my opinion, was just a total bomb. But not because of him, because of those stupid cats. But, you know, whatever.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I think that's what it's been a time for Dolly to say. When she said she liked rock climbing, then you could have asked, like, give him some specific questions, examples of what he could say to go more into that instead of just relating to him. This is not just a Harold problem or an autistic issue. This is actually a man problem. Men just sometimes have difficulty with getting to know women. They hear something and immediately try to relate it to them. Oh, you like rock climbing? I collect rocks. No, find out more about, do I rock climb indoors, outdoors, free climb? Like, find out more about me.
100%. So we're meeting a new character for the first time, Victoria, 39 from New York City. I'll let you go first, Abby. Overall thoughts on Victoria so far from just episode 2.
Okay, so upon meeting Victoria just in episode 2, I had a lot of questions about why is she said that she had what, like 70 something first dates?
75, yeah.
75 first dates. What is she swiping on? Like, what is attracting her to who she swipes on and who she goes on these first dates with? Because I couldn't, in the first episode alone, I couldn't pin down, what are you looking for?
You're so nice. Okay. So I'm like, Victoria, you're 39. You've been in New York for 3 years. You're definitely not giving me New York City vibes at all. When I realized that you're originally from Texas, I was like, okay, that makes sense. But you're not even giving me Texas vibes, because Texas has it's huge. It's huge. There are a ton of people in Texas. I can't wrap my mind around what her personality is. She's and yes, she's a people pleaser. She's eclectic. She's eccentric. All of those things. But like, who are you? I don't get a sense of who she is at all. But apparently, she's in marketing. She loves New York City, but she's finding love in New York City tough, which is absolutely true. A study came out that, New York City and Los Angeles are worst places to date in the United States of America. So I get that for her. She's a dog mom. She feels like she's the professional first dater. She went on 75 first dates. She feels like she needs something new. Her friend comes. What was interesting to me is they don't introduce who the friend is. Some random girl comes over. We don't get a name or anything. She's going to Ireland like Amber. Quote her words, not mine. She loves gingers and freckles. She loves the stereotype that they drink a lot. Her dad's from Ireland. She has history of dating an Irish guy before. She loves the accent. She loves their stereotyped dark humor. And the guy that she dated before, who was Irish, said that Irish men will love her fake tatas. So she's definitely going to go to Ireland. Now, none of those things sound like a great idea to go to Ireland, in my personal opinion. But that's just me. But again, I don't have a sense of who she is. I think that all of these things are super superficial and stereotypical, and not an idea to travel across the world to think that you're going to find your soulmate based on these things alone. But that's, again, just me.
Actually, these things do give us a lot of insight into her, into establishing that she doesn't have a concrete personality. And it's not an issue of, oh, she's just a really flexible, go with the flow person. She doesn't have a concrete foundation of a personality at all. And that's really unfortunate. I think it's sad because she's obviously been through a lot of trauma, and it's been difficult for her to develop that in herself, but it's not unique. A lot of women actually have that problem. So hopefully, she gets an opportunity to develop over the course of the show.
Hopefully. Yeah. So she's tried apps, she's tried speed dating, she's been set up by friends, but nothing has worked for her. So she is trying a matchmaker. Katerina is going to be her matchmaker. I do think Katerina is a great match for her. I noticed that Katerina takes on the more difficult matches. And, I wonder, Abby, would you and I be matched with Katerina?
I think that, remember the matchmaker who was in Morocco?
Yep.
I feel like she would be a good matchmaker for me.
Yeah.
Katerina, I feel like me and Katerina would fight. Now, I'm going to admit Katerina would probably be correct in her assessments of me, but I feel like we'd fight about it.
That's like her. See? There you go. Katerina says that Victoria is independent. She's quirky. She's nerdy. She's an equal opportunist dater, which Katerina equates to being desperate because she's wanting to just date anyone, and that's not what Katerina wants for her. She does think that Victoria is a people pleaser. You know, she's afraid to express who she really is, and I agree with Katerina on all of that. Unfortunately, we do find out that Victoria didn't have a stable childhood. Her dad was a druggie, was in prison most of his life. So she grew up with her grandma. Her mom had already passed away. So her grandma raised her, and then her dad died in prison when she was 19. And so both her parents have passed, and it's just her. I think that she's holding on to a lot of trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fact that she, and I could be wrong again, you guys, this is my personal opinion. I do think that she makes light of that situation because she hasn't dealt with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the surface that we see of her, and only the surface, is because she hasn't dealt with her personal trauma. And, you know, whatever trauma that you are bringing forward in your life, if you haven't dealt with it, it seeps out in different ways. And most people think that if they haven't dealt with it, they can mask it, but you can't mask it because your authentic self doesn't come out. And when it does come out, it can come out in the most inopportune time. Believe me, especially if you are dealing with grief and grieving, it's going to come out at some point. You cannot just mask it and be happy-go-lucky, people pleaser, yada, yada, yada. And I will take it a step further and say that's probably why she's been on 75 first dates and not 75 first and second dates, is because people see that, hey, I'm just meeting your representative and you can't dig deeper than that, then I feel like maybe there's nothing to move forward with.
Correct. I think I will agree with you. She actually reminds me of people who've always, like, they've spent their entire lives trying not to discomfort their caregivers. Like an adopted situation or a foster situation where they're trying so very hard to ingratiate themselves and not cause a problem for their caretakers, then it goes over into their adult life and adult relationships, and they have no sense of real talk.
Yep. So she arrives in Ireland, she meets Katerina, and the other thing that I think is interesting, Abby, because you and I are both, you more than me, but we both are travelers. We like to travel, and we travel often. You just got back from a trip. You guys definitely check out Abby's social media to see where she was recently, as in literally she just got back today. But Victoria's little, like in stature, and she's a casual flyer. And I wanted to ask you and our viewers, how do you travel? Do you get dressed up and go to the airport, or are you casual like Victoria, Abby?
Everyone is going to be disappointed when I answer this. I look like a homeless person when I travel. I do not look inviting. I do not look like somebody who wants to have a conversation with strangers at all. I am just a sloppy American on the plane. And I know it's embarrassing. It's not what you want for me. It's not what I want for me. One of my old bosses used to tell me that I was missing out opportunities to network because I look crazy in the airport. I want more for me. I do. Maybe one day.
I'm a casual but upscale casual flyer. I like to be comfortable, but I also like to be cute. And I will tell you guys a little fun fact. I literally meet someone every time I travel at the airport. Now, whether it goes beyond the airport or not, doesn't matter. I always meet someone. I have a older gentleman from Nova Scotia, and everyone thought he was my husband. So our long, and we still chit chat, and our long standing joke is airport hubby, airport wifey, and we joke to this day about that. But yeah, I tend to meet some people in the airport. I think it's fun, but I also go early because I like to go to the bookstore and get an actual proper book. I like to sit at the bar and read, and the whole, like, I have a whole situation that I do. So yeah, do you guys travel and get dressed up, or do you guys go super casual? Let us know in the comments, in the live chat. We already know where Abby stands. I stand queen, so let us know. Uh, but what Katerina says is that she's not impressed with Victoria's attire. She says Euro is dressed to travel. And, you know, do you want to be seen, Abby? Do you want to be noticed, Abby? Or do you not want? Do you want to be approachable, Abby? Do you want to be open to love, Abby? Because, you know, Euros would like to see a little something, something when they're traveling, Abby.
Yeah, I know. I know it would be like really good for business. And when I was actively like trying to date, it would make sense. But it's just not something that I put energy into. But you know what? I want to do that. I want to. I want to be a person who has airport outfits. I have recently started watching Jackie Amosua on Instagram, and she has the most luxurious flight outfits I have ever seen. I will never be like that. I won't be that fly, but maybe I could get like, 15% of that one day.
All right, then. Katerina asks Victoria, you know, again, what are you looking for in a companion, a partner? And she says she's looking for someone who's compassionate, caring, good, has good hair, is 6 foot or above, and recycles. And Katerina's like, well, you sound like you're looking for someone to change a light bulb for you.
I don't understand the recycled thing. Does that mean something else that I don't know about?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was I thought it was just a random thing that she threw in there because she couldn't think of anything else. I don't know. But you guys, if it means something that Abby and I don't know about, let us know. Katerina thinks that Victoria is going to be a difficult case, and I said LOL because just like Harold, Katerina, you take on the difficult cases. But the other thing is she nails them, right? Like she tells them as it is, and sometimes it's hard to see yourself and to accept some of your, you know, flaws or your idiosyncrasies or whatever the case may be. It's hard, you guys. It is. It's hard. Like, I'll tell you something. I learned on this amazing date that I told you guys at the top of the show. I'm a suspicious person, and you know, my undergrad in criminology and my true crime obsession and all of that really makes sense to me because I'm not going to share with you what happened, but something happened. I didn't appreciate it, and I spoke about it, and he was like, it was just an innocent question. And I was like, well, is it? Is it really that innocent? I didn't like it. Actually, I'll tell you guys. So
Okay.
I, I'll ask you, Abby. So do you Google your dates?
Yes.
And do you, because you are even an attorney, do you deep dive or do you just do a surface Google?
I will check the Department of Corrections website. I will check my local PDF file records. And depending on exactly what the data is going to include, like am I going to their house? Am I going to a secluded place? I might go even further, but that's like basic, like DOC and Department of Corrections and a sex offender search, ex offender search.
Hmm. Okay.
Is that abnormal?
I don't know if it's abnormal. I don't do all that. I don't do all that, but apparently everyone else does. And I guess I'm just probably not the only one, but I didn't appreciate because he knew everything about me. My last name, which I never told him, my Guinean name, like he just knew stuff that he shouldn't have known. And
Mm.
I was weirded out. I was like, are you trying to steal my identity? Like, what is happening here? And I just thought it was weird. And so I guess I am a little
Well, how did it come up? Did it not like go with the conversation that you were having? Is the way that it came out weird? Because the thing is, like,
I
I do these things, but I don't bring it up. I'm not sitting at dinner like, by the way, I also, you know what I mean? Like, I don't bring it up. It's just if I see something that gives me pause, then they just won't happen.
No, it came up as a surprise. It came up in a text where he said something, and I was like, how do you know that? Are you Googling me? Like, that's just weird. Anyways, uh I just I just don't do that. I think that people should I think that yes, you should be safe, and whatever makes you feel comfortable that you feel like you need to look into, then do that. But I think that you should give people the opportunity to get to know you. I think that what you see online, as you guys know, I'm very private, so you guys can, you know, do all the searching you want. It doesn't mean you know me because you read some things online, you see me on shows or whatever. You still don't know me. Like, that just doesn't make sense. So for him to think that, for him to have my last name, I think really just irritated me, because like,
Mm,
where did you even get that from? Like, and how long were you online searching? Like, that is just weird stuff. Because
okay.
I would tell you. Give me opportunity to tell you about myself. That's how I feel. Get to know the person, because in this day and age, yeah, you can deep dive anyone and think that you know them and come to your own conclusion about things. But then what do you talk about when you're on dates, since you feel like you know everything? It makes no sense. um Katerina and Victoria they're gonna butt heads, because Victoria feels like Katerina is harsh and cold, doesn't really understand what she's looking for in a guy. But I dare say, Victoria, I don't think you know what you're looking for in a guy. That's why Katerina is trying to figure it out for you.
Right. Right. And Katerina's actually not being harsh and cold. She is just having direct conversation. And I think somebody like Victoria would struggle with that.
Yeah, and she is struggling with it. We hop over to Brazil with Monica 41. She's looking for love. She's excited about Bruno. That little small clip that she saw, she's excited about Bruno. But Louisa switches it up, meets her at the hotel bar, and says, "You are not meeting Bruno." And she's like, "What?" She's like, "Well, are you open to love? Because if you're open to love, then I want you to meet other people so that you can take a look at other people's intentions, your desires, and look for the unexpected," which I loved that she did that, because y'all, you're not going to watch a 30-second video and be like, "Oh my God, I'm in love. I like this guy."
Hmm. Hmm.
That is like, it screams a little bit of desperation, in my opinion,
Right.
and fear, right? Because now you've seen a video, you think that you like what you see, and so you're putting all of your expectations there. And what I think Louisa did well is that, no, I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to set you up with someone you've never seen before, so that you're actually on a real date and you're present in the moment, and you can't make it something that it isn't. You have to be in the moment.
Exactly. It's not the fantasy that you've been building up for the past couple of days or however long it was before you got to Brazil after you saw that video. It is something new that you are going to need to pay attention and ask questions, right?
Exactly. And that's what she says. She wants her to look for someone with good conversation, see how they are with their actions, and analyze that. Ladies, it's so important. I'm going to say it again. Look for good conversation, see what their actions are, see how they treat servers, see how they treat their friends, see if they open doors or whatever it is that you like specifically. Pay attention, because the more you spend with them, even on that first date, is who they are. Do they drink too much? Do they not drink at all? Do they do drugs? Do they any of the things? Pay attention to all those things, because they're gonna pop out on that date.
Yep.
You analyze, and then you don't focus on the physical connection, because you guys, there could be physical connections. You're a woman, you can connect with really anyone, right? And especially if they're love bombing you, if they're telling you all the things that you like to hear, which is easy to do on a first date, flatter, 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 then that physical connection, especially if they meet your height requirement or smile requirement, or they have a job or whatever it is that turns you on, then you're physically connected to them. That's easy. It's easy. Take a step back and think about the conversation and the longevity of it all. Um, and that's what's going to be important. So her first date's not going to be with Bruno. It's going to be with Granardo, who's 39. She wants her to have fun and ask lots of questions. What are your thoughts on that?
I love this entire setup. I do have a question for you a little bit later about the date itself, but I love the setup.
And we're moving on to episode 3. Too hot to handle. We start the episode with Victoria. What I wrote down is definitely Mean Girl vibes, so I probably won't say it, but like Victoria, I'm gonna have an issue with Victoria. I already know, you guys. Sorry, not sorry. She meets with Katerina and says to Katerina that it's hard to express what she's looking for. How do you go to a matchmaker and say it's hard to express what you're looking for, and then expect the matchmaker to be good at her job and match you with someone that should be with you? That's irritating to me. And so Katerina's like, let me see, what's on your wish list? Let me get to know you. Tell me about your wish list. And she says, full hair, full head of hair, tall, casual, sense of style. And Katerina says those are all superficial things. And I agree with Katerina 100%. 100%. What are you looking for? Abby and I have talked about this plenty of times, right? We both had our separate lists. We talked about it. We shared about it with you. Yes, some of the superficial stuff was there, but it wasn't a deal breaker for us, right? I need someone who wants family. I need someone who is faith-based. I need someone who is a provider. I need someone who is spiritual. Like, there are things in the list that go on beyond, oh, he's got to be casual in the sense of style. When you're 80, you're not going to care if he has a sense of style. You're going to care if he communicates with you still. You're going to care if he holds your hand still. He's going to care. You're going to care if he can care for you while y'all are up in wherever you are on your rocking chairs. So
Right.
Calm down with it.
You didn't want to say anything mean about Victoria, but I will say something that might be a little bit mean. I don't actually know if it is mean or not, but the vibe I get from her is she just wants to date someone who other people will be impressed to see her with.
100%. 100%.
She could care less about their actual personality, just as long as she's got some tall candy with a full head of hair on her arm.
100%. And Katerina says as much, says that Victoria sounds immature. And I'm going to agree with Katerina. Like, you need to go back to the drawing board and figure it out. What is it that you are actually looking for? Because you don't know what you want, and you've lost yourself in all of that. And so Katerina tries to pull it out of her. You know, what are your deepest desires? And she then goes on to say that she's looking for someone fun, wild, who's been arrested. And Katerina's like your father who was in prison.
Record scratch.
And then says, how much was your father able to commit? Like, what imprinted on that for you that you have your dad as what you want in a partner? And I literally wrote, she has a trauma bond. And because she hasn't dealt with the trauma bond, which I talked about a little bit earlier in this episode, she hasn't dealt with the trauma bond. So she doesn't know what she wants. She doesn't know what a good relationship looks like. She hasn't had an ideal relationship to say, oh, I aspire to have this in my life. So now, like Abby just said, she wants some eye candy. Maybe her dad was hot. She wants some eye candy who went to prison, and that's what you want? That's
Yeah,
what
this was so bizarre to hear her say, like, girl, what is going on? You need a retreat for just yourself, not a matchmaker. But I'm gonna watch what happens.
So she wants to, something that was key to me that I wrote down. She wants to be seen and accepted, which goes to what you were saying about the arm candy and having a good-looking guy on her arm so that she can be seen and accepted.
Yeah.
However, if you don't do the work, Victoria, when that good-looking man leaves you, or you break up, or you leave him, you're going to be stuck with yourself, and that's it. You're going to be stuck with yourself. So
Or
will you
even,
then still?
oh,
Will
sorry.
you then? Go ahead.
No, but even in the relationship, like you said, like after she'll still be stuck with herself. But even in the, let's say you get a hot guy right now, you're gonna be insecure in the relationship.
If you don't work on yourself, Victoria, you will never be seen and accepted because you don't accept and see yourself for who you are.
Yeah.
So, in order to break this cycle, which I agree with Katerina is going to sets her up with a bad boy first, so that she possibly will be able to appreciate a good guy later. So her first date is with Dave. They go to an oyster farm. I have not been to an oyster farm. This would be an ideal. Take note, y'all. This would be an ideal date for me. They go to an oyster farm. Dave is in finance, which told me everything I needed to know about him before I even saw his face. He likes to do crazy things. He's a party animal. He's unpredictable. He's a quote unquote typical Irish bad boy. He pulls up in this car. There's some horn situation. He drops how much money he spent to change up his horn. I cringe. I hate everything about it. Victoria actually hated everything about that as well. I will tell you, gentlemen, when you drop how much you spent on stuff, it just tells me that you don't have any money.
Also, a train horn is stupid and inconsiderate to your fellow drivers on the road. That's just dumb. What do you have a train horn for?
And why are you telling people how much you spent on it? Like, I just think that's just, it's just so tacky.
Yeah.
He's never had oysters before. He's like, are they like poppers? I died of laughter because again, it shows me you are frat boy 101, 101. That's how he came off to me.
Mm-hmm.
Goes on to say that he's never dated an American, but he's hooked up with an American. Again, shows me who you are. They go on this oyster farm. They're in the back of the truck. They get their oysters. They're going to clean out the oysters with the water blaster. He decides it's a good idea to blast himself in the face. Frat boy behavior. He thinks Victoria is cool and sexy and, quote, would like to sleep with her. Again, frat boy behavior. They're having oysters. He thinks it's yummy for the first time, but then decides that it would be a good idea to put Tabasco in his eyes. And I say, but why? You want to add anything to that?
Okay, so let's say that you were on this date, right? Now, I don't know if the show requires them to finish the full date out. So, assuming that there's no requirement to finish the full date, at what point did you walk out?
Do you want my honesty? Because, you guys, I think I've shared with you, I don't have a lot of patience for dumb stuff, right? So I would have given him the horn. When he blasted himself in the face with the water thing, I would have been done.
Okay.
But I spent 400 quid on my horn. I might have been, this is not going to work.
And the train horn would have made me mad, but I don't think that I would have left at that point. I probably would have been like, okay, well, I want to be at the oyster farm, so I'm going to stay. I'm not staying for him at this point. It's because I want to be at the oyster farm. But I think I agree with you. At the point that he starts with the high-powered hose to his face, okay, you're dangerous. And I'm going to go ahead and excuse myself and come back to the oyster farm another day. By the way, I'm actually planning an oyster farm trip for my friends in Maryland. I will let you know the details in case you decide to pop across the country to come.
I love it. Love it. All right, Harold. He's gonna have his first date with Azut Hoy. They call her Cheesy. He has no suspenders. Bravo, bravo, Harold. Bravo. They meet. They shake hands. They both like to draw, and they both like cats. They're at an art cafe with cats. They think it's quirky and cute. He likes her smile. I'm really trying hard not to talk crazy, y'all. He loves her smile, loves the hearts on her dress. And he's really just trying to keep the conversation flowing. First of all, you guys, I would never ever go to a cat cafe. Like, just cats all over the place. And then explain to me how that works. So, like, they just are all over the place, the drinks and the paintings, everything is just all mixed together. And the cats just roam and touch everything, and you touch them and touch all the things. Like, explain how that works to me. I don't know. But
I have no idea how it works, like on purpose, but when I went to Morocco and Turkey, the cats were very much like that. The cats are in the restaurants, in the cafes, and I was the only person who seemed to have a problem with it.
Okay, well, no Morocco for me. He's afraid to feed cats, and he gives a story how his friend was bit by a cat and had nerve damage, so he's not for it. He'd rather feed some ducks. I'm not mad at you about that, Harold, at all, because cats are ferocious and vicious. I sent Olivia this video that I saw on Instagram. This lady was a lady, I don't know, it was some person, and the cat was here. The person was minding their own business. All of a sudden, the cat attacked the person's face, gouged the face, just...
Oh, that's horrible. The worst thing my cat ever did to me was I had on a pair of shorts and he tried to climb up my leg like I had on a pair of pants. So I just had like cat piercings all the way up the back of my leg.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. Lovely. That's lovely. His date, Cheesy, wants to form a family, but thinks that just by first looks that Harold's not her type, because he doesn't like cats. And so my question to you, Abby, is it a deal breaker? Are animals so important to you when you date that if the person loves or hates cats, dogs, or the other, that would be a deal breaker for you?
First of all, I think Cheesy was just being nice because she said by first look. That means look, not knowing anything about the person. By first look, she didn't think that it was going to be a match. And I think that she just wanted to be nice and not say anything about his appearance by saying, oh, he doesn't like cats. No, for me, that's not a deal breaker. And I really don't even think that's what Cheesy really meant when she said she didn't think it was a match at first look. By the way, hey, Becca. Hey, Dr. Megan.
I mean, do you all need me to answer this question, or do you already know?
Go for it. Take it away.
Okay. Don't have a cat. Don't have a cat, and just don't have a cat. You can have any other animal, a snake, a pet, a duck, a rabbit, a mouse. Just don't have a cat. Don't have a cat. It won't work out for us. Period. The end. Okay? You might think it's irrational, but that's just how it is for me. Sorry, definitely not sorry. All right. Hey, Dr. Megan. Hey, Becca. So yeah, it's a deal breaker. Deal breaker. No cats. And I'll just say, like, it's the cat dander. I'll go with that, even though you guys know that that's not true. Harold thinks that Cheesy has a calm demeanor. He likes that about her. However, he is acknowledging there's a lack of chemistry or spark. And I appreciate the fact that he knows that, because he thinks about the last time he was on a date and their chemistry and how they were able to communicate. So I do feel like he's learned a lot from there. they decide that they're going to take their art date to another spot, go for drinks. And they're on like an outside patio. Cheesy's like, it's a bit warm. And he gives this crazy answer, you guys, that I was just like, oh, Harold, I really need your matchmaker to help you with small talk. He's okay because he breathes in through his big nose, through his sinuses, and is able to make the blood circulate and him to stay cool. What?
I mean, that would be a good answer for somebody who was into those kinds of facts. But Cheesy has not shown herself to be someone who's into that kind of thing, right? So yeah, it didn't go over well.
Yeah.
Also, earlier I wanted to mention and I forgot. Cheesy asked him, "Do you like to draw or do you like art?" However she phrased the question, his response was, "I have a degree in fine arts." That's not the answer to the question, Harold. The answer to the question is yes or no.
Yeah, that's why I said his matchmaker needs to help him with the small talk because he just does. He's not there. He doesn't have it. The server comes and he's like, "Do you have mocktails?" And that was the whole thing. You cannot be a drinker. It just, I don't know. I don't know, Harold. This is not looking good for you. It's not looking good for you. He doesn't like to drink. He drinks maybe once a year, half a cup at New Year's. It goes on to say that he's never had a girlfriend at New Year's to celebrate New Year's with, and I just thought that was too much information. What were your thoughts, Abby?
It was too much information because she was asking, and my understanding of her question was, what is a traditional New Year's celebration for you? It wasn't a give me your woe is me, what you want to happen. It was, what is traditional in your community? Is there an apple that drops? Is there a peach that drops? Does your family get together? Are there certain foods that you eat? My understanding of her question was about tradition.
Yeah, 100%. There's no connection with these two. He knows it, she knows it, but he then tries to have a last-ditch effort and says that soulmates are grown, not found. I don't agree with that. I do think that you get a deeper connection as you get to know someone. But you can connect with someone immediately, and then you see where that goes. We find out that she hasn't been in a serious relationship ever before, which, like Harold, they have that, in common. So she says, she likes someone to take the lead, someone that's direct, and then he takes that as a cue to be direct and take the lead. So he's like, well, I'd like to hold your hand. And she looks at him for a moment and agrees to it. But unfortunately, he had the sweaty palms. And so she didn't appreciate it and didn't like it and ended the date immediately. Said she had a long day ahead of her and she was ready to go. He realizes there's no spark or passion between them and bids her adieu. Do you have anything else to add to that?
Nope, that's that. Some you win some, you lose some. That was just not a match, and that's okay.
Back over to Brazil with Monica. She has her date with Bernardo, who they're having a football-y date, which I had never heard of. So I learned something. This is why I love when they travel. Had you heard of football-y?
I had never heard of this before.
Yeah, me either. So football-y is like volleyball, but you play it with your feet, and I'm here for it. So they have a football-y date. She loves that it's going to be an active date. Louisa really wants her to ask questions rather than focus on chemistry and the physical, which I think is interesting because those are the first things that she noticed when she got to her date. Bernardo is a personal trainer, but he's calm. He goes with the flow, is what Louisa said. But I will tell you this, he was attracted to Monica immediately too. These two were attracted to each other immediately.
Right.
39, she's 41, and that's my note. She's attracted to him immediately, but he's attracted to her immediately as well. He has a couple of his friends at this gym, so they have a 2-on-2 football-y match. one of the things that Monica sees immediately is as soon as they go to play, all three guys take off their shirts. They all have six packs. She's impressed. She's excited. She goes up there. You serve in football like soccer, but with a volleyball net, and you have to get the ball over the net. And it's almost the same rules. If it hits the ground, then you score a point, etc., etc. We find out he's never dated an American before. He's been single for 2 years. And they have a great time. And they want the date to continue, so it does continue. She is trying to ask questions. So the first question she asks is he good with money? Okay. Like, do you pay your bills? I was like, is that the first question? Should that be the first question?
Listen, I understand the concern, Monica, and I appreciate that you wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way, but it was a little soon. I like you. I like where you were thinking, where you're coming from. Me and Linda both think it's important to be connected on finances, but it was just a little too soon.
Yeah, Monica, and it didn't come out smooth at all. Like, do you pay your bills? Okay. But, she's good with money. That's something that she's into and works in the field that she's in. So I understand that was the top of her mind. Like, she doesn't want to have to train or take care of anyone. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
He has no kids, but he would like to have some. He's 39, so he's thinking about that. He used to be a teacher, but now he's a trainer because as a teacher in Brazil, he wasn't making enough money. And so they go to continue their date, and they continue their date at her hotel bar. She does a quick costume change, and then they meet at the bar at the hotel. What I did love about this date is that she asked him to speak some Portuguese to her, and she was able to translate it.
Mm-hmm. So
That's
obviously she put some effort in. Yeah.
That's making effort. Anyone who's on
Mm-hmm.
a date, we love effort. That was
Yep.
that. I was like, okay, Monica, I see you. I see
Yeah,
you.
I like that too.
Pardon?
I liked that too. I have a question for you before we finish their hotel bar date. How do you feel when you're if you find yourself on a date with someone and it just ended up being one of their errands? So, for example, he was playing foot volley with his friends and this opportunity for a date comes up and he just says, "Oh, just come play foot volley with me and my friends." Do you mind that being the date, or do you feel like, "Oh, he just asked me to join him on one of his daily activities"?
I don't think that's what that was. I think they needed 4 people. That's why he had 2 friends there to play this football league.
Okay.
But for your question, no, you have to plan a proper date. I'm not jumping in unless we've been dating for a few months. I'll jump in on something you've already planned if you ask me. But if this is something to get to know me and we're just on a first, second date, third date, fourth date, fifth date, no. You're planning a proper date and it's just me and you, period. Full
Okay.
stop.
All right. Let's continue with the hotel bar. This was a good date for us to watch.
Yes. So a little bit of Portuguese is spoken. She asked him, where do you like to travel? Which is a great question. I thought Rome is where he loves, and part of it's because it's Catholic. His faith is important to him. He believes in God, same as her. She's Catholic as well. Her faith is important to her. She almost starts crying, talking about her faith and being a single mom. I thought that was a great moment for both of them to share. And I always tell you guys, talk about your faith. Y'all need to talk about your faith when you're trying to get in an exclusive relationship so you both know where you stand. He likes her. He feels like she's the person he's been looking for, which was a huge thing to say for a man. I was a little taken aback. Because women, I don't know about you all, but when you're saying too much too soon, it's a bit overwhelming for me. But she likes him too. But he wants kids. And she tells him on this date, which I thought was really, I thought it was mature of her.
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, listen, before I waste any of your time, as a 41-year-old, I don't want any more kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that we don't hear his answer to that, but that's where they leave it.
Right. It's good for her to know that about herself and not waffle on it. And it's good for him to have that information to be able to make a decision about.
100%. 100%, you guys be on the same page. I already told you those 5 things, plus the 2 things that Abby has added. You guys need to have those conversations. Last and certainly not least, we end the episode with Amber. She meets with Katerina at Marsh's, and I have to go to Ireland. It's on my bucket list. That library does indeed look magical. You guys know how much books. They have books from the 15th century, and you could just see the old books. Like one day I'll show you. I have a book cabinet. It's just I have books everywhere. You think I'm a hoarder of books, but I love them. So I have to go. I didn't even know about it. Did you know about it, Abby?
I did not know about it, but Ireland is on my list of places I would love to visit, just for the wide open spaces, but now the library too.
Okay, so listen, you guys. A travel place, you know how we see a lot of the 90 Dares doing like these group travel things? A travel company reached out to me to do the same type of thing, but for the 90 Day fans. And I think that would be something that you and I could totally do. Would you guys?
That would be cool.
Would you guys join Abby and I for like a 90-day TLC fan tour? We meet somewhere. And yeah, we talk a few things TLC, but we explore the world. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the live.
Yes.
I haven't responded initially, but you guys have been so busy. I've been so like crazy busy, as you guys probably have noticed. But if that's something that you guys think it would be interesting to do, then I will respond to them and see what's all entailed. Okay, so they meet at the bookstore, and Amber's really concerned that Kayvon lives at home and wonders why Katerina would match her with someone who lives at home. And again, that's that American mentality that I talked about earlier, in my opinion. But they both want a second date, and Amber asks Katerina, is that a cultural thing? And Katerina explains, yes, it's culture. In Ireland, family comes first, and it's normal here to live at home until you're married and then you move into the house. Meanwhile, you're saving money, you're being with your family, you're supporting your family, and you're loving on your family, and it's just completely normal. Abby, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I can completely understand that.
Becca says, oh my God, I cannot say yes hard enough. Okay, you guys, I'll look into it because I think that we would all have an amazing time. And Becca says Abby would have all the good food recs.
Listen, if we go somewhere that I have already been, I'm going to know where the good food is. Iceland, Mexico City. I don't know if we can get Linda to come to Istanbul because the whole cat situation. But yeah, I got you on food.
Love it. So Amber really just doesn't want to date a broke guy, and she's worried about his finances and his ability to provide for family. And Katerina's like, listen, he's pragmatic, he's hardworking, he's goal-oriented. Money is the least of his issues. And if you can imagine, he's living at home. I'm sure all his ducks are in a row, y'all. So Amber can calm down a little bit, I think. But Katerina also knows how fast Amber moves, so Katerina wants her to meet another guy to keep her options open, and so that she doesn't rush into anything. And I think that it would be the best thing for her, because it looks like Amber's already like trying to lock Kayvon down, and she's been for less than a week.
Correct. I love what Katerina is doing with Amber, and I just wish the best for her.
100%. 100%. Those are the 2 episodes, you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. My busy season is over for now, so we will have another show on Friday to keep catching up on all things love abroad.
Yes,
Yes,
I'm very excited.
me too. All right, you guys, love y'all. We'll see you on Friday. Bye for now.